YouTube, how y'all doing, man? This is Coach Chaney. Welcome to my channel about football, recruiting, and family and life in general. Um, I just want to come to you guys, with honesty and integrity, and to kind of let you know my experiences on, all of those topics. But today I want to talk about recruiting. I want to talk about recruiting. I want to talk about the misconceptions, the ins and outs, where we're going wrong, some of the misconceptions that we're having about recruiting, some of the misconceptions that we're having about college coaches and colleges, and if our kids are D1, if our kids are NAIA, if our kids are D2, how much does it cost to go to college? What if my kid doesn't get a full scholarship? I kind of want to just, in a nutshell, break all that down today. First of all, if you find this content of value, if you like it, please hit the subscribe button and the notification button. It'll mean a lot to me. If you subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to yours right away. No big deal. We're all in this trying to, get better. But just a little bit about myself. I'm a head football coach here in South Florida, Lehigh Acres, South Florida, in the Fort Myers, Florida area. This will be my fifth season being a head coach. And I have sent several, well, I won't even claim that. Several kids from my school have signed Division One Power Five FBS scholarships, Division One FCS scholarships, all the way down to D2, D3, NAIA, and I've sent kids to JUCO. As a matter of fact, I sent two kids to one of the Last Chance U teams, which was a little different. But and I'll get into that also. But just kind of stick with me to the end, and at the end, I'm gonna try to break down maybe my top 5 or 10 pieces of advice to get you into or give you some realistic expectations about your son getting a football scholarship. And I can only speak on football. I don't deal with any other sports. But football is a hotbed topic across the nation, in every town, every city. As kids going, thousands of kids are going to camps, thousands of kids are signing up for some of these recruiting services. Thousands of parents have these lofty goals for their kids when it comes to getting football scholarships. And just let me start by saying this: college football is, to be honest with you, is probably only for about 2% of the kids playing high school football. Let me say that again. College football is probably only for about 2 to 3% of the high school kids who are playing football. 2%, 3%, that's it. Pop Warner is like this. Everybody can play Pop Warner. High school, JV freshman, about like this. Varsity football, about like this. College football, about like this. Pro football is the percentage can fit on my pinky finger. That's how it is. The more levels you go up, the harder it is to compete and be able to play at these levels. You have to have a certain skill set, mindset, and work ethic. That's just number one. A lot of people think, because their kid likes football or if he plays football, that automatically he's going to go to Clemson or Alabama or Florida State. Doesn't quite work that way. These Power 5 FBS colleges now have so much money in a budget to find kids. There's so much social media now. There's Rivals. There's 247. You really can't hide a Power 5 FBS player. You cannot hide them. They come to the forefront. Some get the offers early. Some get the offers late. You cannot hide the fact that a kid, has the right height and weight requirements. Number one, let's talk about height and weight. If your son is 5'10", 290, he's not going to play Power 5 FBS football. He may be the best lineman that God ever made, but those times have passed. I played at Florida State University. I got my scholarship through a football camp. I was an undersized nose guard, 6 foot, about 240 or 250. I got a football scholarship from Florida State through going to camp. I did really well in camp. I was unusually strong. I got a football scholarship to Florida State. That really was probably the last of the. I was probably the last of Mohicans to go to college as an undersized person. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't ever happen, but if you're undersized, and I tell my players this all the time, if you're undersized, if your kid is undersized, if your kid is a 5'9" receiver or a 5'7" running back or undersized offensive lineman, defensive lineman, linebacker, whatever position it may be, that kid has to be a finisher. He has to be the best guy on his team and one of the top 5 guys in your state. That's the only chance he gets at Power 5 FBS. Fair or unfair, that's the way the business is. You know what I'm saying? These people, Alabama came out with that deal. I don't know when it was, but they came out with that deal where Nick Saban was like, rumored to say, I didn't hear him say it, but he said, hey, I don't want nobody under 6 foot on my team. The punter, the kicker, nobody. Everybody is 6 foot or better. You know what I'm saying? So these gentlemen fell into recruiting like they were recruiting pro football players. Players that, I've seen documents in the NFL where the offensive guards had to be anywhere from 6'3" to 6'5" with a so many inch wingspan. Their hips had to be this high. And it's really down to a science. When you talk about some of the money that comes through college football and with the TV deals, with the sport, the Nike deals, the Under Armour deals, you're talking about some serious revenue. And college assistant, FBS Power 5 assistant coaches, make well into the 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? I have a few teammates that I played football with, whose salaries are well documented, and they make serious money doing coaching a position. So we're talking about money. We're talking about keeping up with the Joneses. Hey, I want to do what Alabama does. I want to do what Clemson does. So if Clemson is recruiting 6'6" defensive ends, and if your son is 6'1", unless he's certified legit, he's not going Power 5 FBS. And there's nothing against kids. There's nothing against. So what I'm trying to say is we have to be realistic about where our kids are. Let's be realistic about that. Let's also stop saying, hey, if my kid don't go Power 5, then the coach ain't doing his job or everybody's sleeping on my kid. No, there's nothing wrong with going D2, D3, NAIA, or even FCS. Some people don't even want to go FCS. Some people like, look, if I don't go to Florida State, man, I don't want my son playing. It's a conspiracy. No, I just was reading today about credit, just looking at some videos. I look at YouTube all the time. And I was just looking at something regarding how student loan debt has surpassed credit card debt. That's ridiculous. That's off the mark. There's more money owed to student loans and more people in debt and have bad credit regarding student loans than any time in history. Way more than credit card debt now. So what would make you think that it would be a bad thing for your son or your daughter to get a partial scholarship or an 80% scholarship, 70% scholarship? That, to me, that's winning. That's him not having very much student loan debt. That's him being able to get on with his life, and he's getting the same degree as everybody else. They're not checking, where you went to school. Oh, well, he went to West Florida and he got his bachelor's degree, but it doesn't say Yale, it doesn't say Harvard. That's unreasonable. So you have to absolutely check in on your goals and what's realistic. Stop putting your kids under pressure to sign this big Power 5 D1 offer. Because it doesn't happen very often. There's not many spots out there for these types of kids. And that's just being realistic. It's a size and weight parameter. You have to have a certain amount of grades and test scores. You have to perform. You have to have a HUDL highlight film that's one of the best in the country if you want to go to Clemson. You have to have the right body. You have to look like you're in the weight room. You have to display that level of intensity and work ethic. When you're in the level of a Clemson, a Alabama, a Georgia, some of these SEC schools and ACC schools, you gotta be on point. None of that. Hey, I don't feel like working out today. None of that. Oh, I'm sick. I'm not coming to practice. It's on a different level. This is a different situation. So I'm gonna kind of cut it off there at that part one, and I'm gonna come back with another video. I might do one in the morning and just kind of expound on what I talked about now, because this is running a little long. But listen, the one thing that your child can control is his grades, how hard he works, and what type of person he is. That'll take him a million more miles than football ever will. And parents, some parents kind of live through their kids and say, hey, I want my kid to do this and do that. And you started it in Pop Warner. Just admit it. Pop Warner, that's when you started it. Hey, I want my kid to do this. I want my kid to do that. And Pop Warner, I'm going to be honest with you, is for fun. Youth football is fun time. Every level you move up in the football ranks, okay, it gets harder and more serious, when it comes to the game of football, okay? So, guys, remember, your little young 7 and 8 and 9-year-olds, let them have fun. Let them just enjoy the game. Because when they get to high school, it's going to be another level of pressure. If they get to college, it's going to be another level of pressure. And the pressure in the NFL is off the charts. So what we want to do is we want to build great men. That's our number one goal. We want to build great young men. And if we can help them avoid falling into that student loan trap through football, that's what we're going to do. That's what we strive to do at Lehigh Senior High School, at least. And I know a whole lot of coaches around the country who strive for that too. So, hey, man, I'm going to wrap this up. If you like the content, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button and the notification button. Man, I would greatly and truly appreciate that. And I'll be back with a part 2 on this recruiting situation, because it's going to take a little bit of time, to make sure we go through everything, okay? Hey, thanks for watching, man. It's Coach Chaney. I'll see you guys soon.